Hello. Today I just want to speak briefly about, well, I'm never brief, am I? I did touch briefly the other day on when I was speaking about the Chariot, the Lover's card, and how the Lover's card is very much, a lot of readers interpret that as being your soulmate or twin flame card, and I disagree. Well, not for my readings. It's never actually come up that way. It's always been a very personal decision, not involving anybody else. There's other weird meanings to that card as well. However, it got me thinking that clearly spiritual readings, the strengthening, the spiritual journey involves all elements of life, and we're tested, and we're gifted, and we are joyous in many areas of our lives. So I thought that I should share with you the cards that I actually interpret in my readings as being cards that mean that someone important is coming into your life, or the person that you are connected with is the person you should be connected with, or that's a good person to be connected with, because being with the wrong, I'm talking romantically obviously, the wrong spouse, partner in your life affects all areas of your life, and it can be not only spiritually halting, sometimes just completely stunting. And I've even seen it where it's actually voided some spirituality, and people have somehow managed to go backwards. And being with the wrong person or partner in life can be very detrimental. So the cards that I see within spreads regarding romantic interests and partners, I'm going to share with you. And not just one card. Depending on intuition, which plays a key part, usually I'd like to see at least two together, or especially if one's wedged in between a male and female court cards of the same suit. You know, if we had the excuse me, if we had the King of Pentacles and we had the Two of Cups nestled in between the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, I mean, that's lovely, isn't it? Clearly that's soul connection. Yeah, so I'll move on. The first cup, I just mentioned it anyway, is the Two of Cups. I mean, oh, this is Rider Waite. I'm really croaky. Yeah, that's the Rider Waite, and that's the Two of Cups. And I like it because it's just complete equality. And I think it's called a Cadeus angel or something weird. The thing hovering with the wings in between. That's that just shows it's a, well, I think it shows it's divinely guided connection. It's being watched over even, and probably divine timing was involved. So and it's just equal. So that's my first card for definitely the right partners within spreads. Now, as I said, I like it if it wasn't nestled in between the relevant court cards. I would need a backup, some backups. Now that the two cups coming together and being shared, cups meaning emotion and spirit, which also flows over into fire as well, wands. The Two Cups theme also moves into the majors in 2 cards. Well, kind of the star, but not really. So if I see it backed up by Temperance, which is the number 14, by the way. If I see it backed up by Temperance, the Archangel tempering the 2 cups, it's humanity's wine and water that she's tempering there, trying to find the right alchemical mix. But if I saw that in a spread with the 2 of Cups, it's just backing that up, and it's backing up at a soul level with the major arcana and an archangel. So that's definitely another card. It doesn't have to be with the 2 of Cups, but the 2 cups coming together again. That means that this is someone. It's part of your soul family. It's a soulmate, sorry. Oh, and I should have said briefly in the beginning too, organised always, that the latest craze, I guess, it's not latest, it's been around for a bit, but is this whole, and I have to do this with the twin flame idea, I guess, that I can't explain it, but I just revolt at every level the idea of it. I really don't like it because not only do I not believe in any such thing as these twin flame ridiculousness, but it generally teaches spiritually that as ourselves we're incomplete, that we need this other to become complete, and that's just insanity. Like preaching anything that makes you search for something else outside of yourself to make yourself complete, I could never back that, ever. So soulmates and soul family are people, you're on the same frequency, and you've probably been together many lifetimes. We have many soulmates, we have many soul friends, let's say, that test us and that we see many times, that we know very well from our soul family. But they don't complete us, they help us, and we like to see them. They make our journey much better, but no, we don't need anything outside of ourselves to complete ourselves. So that's important. So no twin flames on this channel ever, and yeah, I get quite animated, and I could probably talk about that for far too long. Okay, so we just had Temperance, which has the 2 cups theme. It backs it up either way. If we had those 2 cards, that would be definite, the right partner, your soulmate, whatever. And the 3rd card that backs that theme up is the Star, loosely, because she's got and she's number 17 in the major arcana. Because as you see, she's got the 2 jugs, and she's pouring them into, I forgot, it's hope and healing, I think, or something. Definite healing, anyway. I don't remember the name. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Yeah, so that's the Star, and definitely not by herself. I wouldn't see it. Unless she was nestled again into 2 quarts of the same soup or something similar, but she's definitely back up. And when you think, because of the 8-pointed star, the 8 being the infinity symbol, yeah, it's very multi-layered card, this one, but yeah, it's definitely back up if we had Temperance and her, or the 2 of Cups. So that's the theme of the 2 of Cups, and those 3 cards together, my goodness, that would be fated. I was going to say something else, I don't know. Oh, if I saw the star, this is another card. Now, it's not the Two of Cups thing. Those are the 3 cards that have that throughout the tarot deck. Another definite right partner, soulmate card. And if it was backed up by the star, being the 8-pointed star, I'd, yeah, it would be a definite, is the Two of Pentacles. We've got, yeah, it's a bit of a loaded card, that one, isn't it? But we have, yeah, our Joker there, Court Jester. Juggling 2 pentacles there, but as you can see, it's on the infinity symbol that he's maneuvering them on, and clearly that just shows that that's soulmate in infinite energy. And if that was backed up by that 8-pointed star, yeah, definite. So that's the right person that you should be having in your life. That, oh, they're not always easy too. Like soulmate, you know, yeah. In fact, they usually help us grow. They help us on our spiritual journey. They teach us things. We all teach each other things. So, yes, that's my other card. Definite soulmates, good partner energy in a spread. Are the last card, and definitely not by itself. Like, no. Only if in conjunction with one of these other cards, it would definitely back it up. And that's the Moon, which is number 18. And the Moon usually talks about deception and things. I mean, it's talking about in the moonlight, and so, but if it was backing up one of these cards, then we're talking about unconscious. We're talking about at a spiritual level, and yeah, it's a funny card. At a spiritual level, you know that you're connected to this other person, but it doesn't make sense, because as you can see in this card, underneath the Moon, there we have the dog and the coyote coming together to howl at the moon together. Apparently, I mean, I didn't know this, but they're, you know, classic foes. So this card will often, in conjunction with one of the others, it is Two of the Pentacles, the Star, Temperance, or Two of Cups. You'll feel connected to somebody at a soul level, but it'll be somebody so different from you, obviously, because of the dog and the coyote. It doesn't even make sense, but you're still connected. And this card will back that up. And actually, and those are usually the really, you know, all the opposites attract sort of jargon. But they will really, really help you along in your soul journey. That you, I mean, you're not going to learn much from somebody just like yourself, are you? So, yeah, that's definitely only a backup card, this one. Right, so those are my 5 that means soulmate energy, definitely, and a good partner, a good match. I mean, we don't always stay together whole lifetimes or whatever, but for however long you're with that person, it's a good match. It'll help you along. It's not going to halt your journey. It's not going to, because sometimes it's not even just when you're with that person. If it's the wrong person, it could be a long time after, because of the healing that's involved afterwards, and you might never heal. So, yeah, so that's my 5. But I've got quite a lot of important mentions to share as well. Just because we're talking about romantic partners, I guess. I'll also indicate the cards. The soul family. That indicate, yeah, definite soul connection. Whoever this person is, they're definitely part of your soul family. First one is the Ten of Pentacles. Because basically, it just speaks for itself, doesn't it? You've got the grandfather, the dogs, the husband and wife, the kids. It just talks about legacy. And it talks about ongoing, because, where is it? We've even got, over here, it even shows like a doorway to another realm. 2 other realms, actually, if you're looking. Yeah, so that shows the infinite soul family and the legacy thereafter. So definitely, this is a soul family card. And we've got the Six of Cups. And we've got 2 childhood chums. You know how he's gifting her some flowers. You know, how could that not mean soul family? It's just a beautiful card, really. Usually it'll speak of nostalgia and childhood friends and old friends and all that sort of stuff, but it's definitely soul family energy. 6 Cups. This one too. It's a bit of overkill in this card. We've got it's the Ten of Cups. Ooh, 10 of Cups, and we've got the husband and wife. We've got the kids skipping around. We've got a rainbow in the sky with 10 cups, and then there's the homestead on the hill, and just their basic exalted happiness, I guess, in that card. But that's definite soul family. Oh, and just noticed too the river sort of going on and on up there, being soul. Yeah, it's definite soul family energy. And that card, oh my goodness, whenever I see this card I roll my eyes, but yeah, it's just me. Soul family energy in the 10 of Cups. This soul connection card, the Lovers, so we're back here. If around other soul family cards, will definitely reinforce it, because this, I've always seen it as a personal decision at a soul level to decide, yeah, what you're going to do basically to fulfill your soul. So I guess for some people maybe that is the partner, but yeah, it's not guaranteed. So if it was with one of those other cards, yeah, definitely soul family. So it's the soul family energy as well, because it talks about things at soul level. Oh, and there's an archangel watching over the business, so it has to be, doesn't it? Now this is an odd one, and it's kind of a, oh, I'll show you, I may as well show you what I'm talking about. This is the 5 of Pentacles, and it's usually associated with poverty and financial strife or lack. Spiritual poverty too. However, and this isn't actually, I haven't unpacked all my decks yet, so I couldn't find a good example. So this is the Rider Waite still, and it shows that these two, I think they're lepers, but anyway, out in the cold, trying to find somewhere warm to stay for the night, I suppose. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. In some decks, and in the older European decks, sort of early, I don't know, 13th, 14th, 15th century, this was actually the good marriage card, because because these two are out in the cold together, it's in sickness and in health, in rich and poor. These two are still together, you know, in thick and thin. So it can in some circumstances, but it would have to have probably, yeah, another one of those, one of my 5 soulmate cards, good partner cards, and this one. So it has to be in the right context and have the right cards around it. But it used to be known as that, like the good marriage card, the good part, or maybe good wife or good husband, I can't remember, but it definitely implied that these two are going to stick together no matter what. But it's actually, it's generally interpreted quite negatively these days. Yeah. Right. Now I've got quite a... I was surprised when I took all the cards out of the deck. So I was like, goodness, got a lot of cards out that are quite romantic and sexual. These are just all special mentions. Some of them are sexual, some of them are just special mentions. So. Okay. So first we have this Ace of Wands. Which is highly, well, it's masculine. It's a masculine card, and it's clearly quite a phallic image. And if in conjunction with some other sexualized cards, then yes, this would be indicating sexual energy. And if it was around some other partnering cards, like trying to think of a good example. Like if it was with, say, the Two of Cups, and then it had other sexual cards around it, and the Two of Cups wasn't backed up with one of the other soulmate cards, then I would say this is a sexual connection. So, Ace of Wands gets a special mention. Spoke about this recently. This card isn't a good example of it, but it's 5 of Wands, which can be highly sexual energy. Can be really flirtatious too, like and competition, which also brings in that jealousy thing. But when we're talking about it in the sexual context, like that does get some people excited, doesn't it? The jealousy element. Yeah. So that's another very sexual card. If with other sexual cards, all the ones can be. If other cards are conducive, can be quite sexual. Okay, it's 5 Wands. Now this is a special mention card, 9 of Cups. Now this is generally known as the wish fulfillment card, and if around, say if it was around some sexual cards, and I saw this guy, he looks pretty pleased with himself, doesn't he? This is a very selfish lover, let's say, and if that is his wish fulfillment, then that'll be it. So it depends on the context and other cards, but it's a very selfish card. Special mention. Okay, now we've got King of Wands. Again, it's wands, so it can be very sexual, and if other cards show it. But oh, he's also known as the husband card. So if you're seeing a lot of sexual cards around and he's there, then that's a definite affair kind of card, and the sexual affair, obviously. But on YouTube, there's another, well, there is a tarot reader, Saltwater Heals Tarot is the name of her channel, and she always, and it just like automatically pops into my head now when I see him, this card in my spread, but she calls him King Dangalang, big dick energy. Yeah. And I can't help it. It's just on instant replay when I see this card. I automatically think of that now. So he gets a special mention. Right. The devil. I mean, obviously he was going to get a mention, wasn't he? If that was with the Two of Cups, well, clearly we're talking about, you know, a sexual union of some variety. And, you know, if it was with a whole lot of wands and pentacles, then we'd be talking about perversions and stuff. And again, all the interplay comes in, but the devil's always lusty and satanic. So we're talking about physical pleasures. So, so yeah, he's bound to come around. Now, this is actually ruled by Saturn as well, but the World is a strange card. I think most people would, well most readers I think, would be thinking, but it gets a special mention because I have seen it very often actually, and especially when things have gone pear-shaped or people are in separation, partners that should be together. So say if we had, so say if we had, you know, some of my soulmate cards together, and like I said, things went pear-shaped, or actually they don't have to go pear-shaped, but just in generally love context. If this is, when this is referring, or what position it's in, if it's how somebody feels about somebody else, it can quite literally just mean that they think the world of them. And you can't get much higher regard than that. So that gets a special mention, but it, again, interplay and where it's actually lies in the spread is very important. But oh, and that obviously she's known as like the shapely, untouchable woman and perfection, I guess. So usually she's voluptuous and yeah, think the world of her. I like that. I like that idea, I guess, and I've seen it quite a bit. Now, Six of Pentacles. Now this card speaks of exchange, a fair exchange too, so that's good. But in itself, obviously, it's Pentacles, so it's usually relating to money, I guess, most often. Sorry, I'm bobbing it around, aren't I? Can be about, or respect and things like that. However, if accompanied by some of our sexual cards today, you know, if it was with the devil, or if it was with, well, you know, Ace of Wands, then we're talking about a sexual exchange of energy. Because it's an exchange of energy in the Pentacle suit. But if it's if the cards around it are saying sex, then that's a sexual exchange. So. But it's a fair one, so it's a good card. Mutual satisfaction, I guess. Yeah, so that gets a special mention. Checking out what I've got left. Okay. Seven of Swords. The classic deception card, or lying, or cheating. You know, if it was around other sexual cards, and a union card like the Temperance or Two of Cups. Obviously this is after the deed, isn't it? Running away. So the deception might be that, you know, the future fakers and things like that, and then he just runs off after having his fun, I guess, or her, mind you. I know it's a man in the card, but it you know, that doesn't say man or woman, whoever's energy it's harnessing. Yeah. So that's the up and leave them. Often during the night too, grab their things and off they go. So Seven of Swords. Sorry, one sec. Actually, I'll pause it. Now, in the context of unions within spreads, done something. I thought I mentioned the four of Pentacles because it's a very possessive card, and if it was surrounded by other sexual cards and union cards, then it would be a very jealous and possessive card. So that would be a big no-no. I wouldn't advise of participating in that union. That's definitely not going to be good for any spiritual growth. So yeah, actually this card's pretty multi-layered as well, but within the context of partnerships and things, no, it's never good. It never bodes well. I mean, look at him holding onto that pentacle, and he's got his feet on the other pentacles, and he's strolled up, like he's out in the country somewhere. He's not even in the city. He's not in the city. He's decided to take his pentacles, roam off into the countryside, and he's still hanging on to them out there. So very controlling, very possessive, and very jealous. Not very good for partnerships. So special mention for Four of Pentacles. Okay, so Three of Cups. It's a very free card, and I had to get a mention. I mean, by itself, it just means celebrations, and often, if it was around soul family cards and things, it would be, family celebrations, weddings, things, But if not in good company, in spreads, that freedom. Slight hiccup. We were at the Three of Cups, and I was talking about the freedom and celebration within it. So within this card, it's getting a special mention because if, well, not negatively impacted, but if it's surrounded by sexual cards, then the freedoms become very liberal in it, and we're talking orgies, and it's often called the lesbian card. So, and just all freedoms and celebrations in a sexual context, I guess. So even sex parties, swingers parties, any celebration involving sex, I suppose. And I think the thing to be noted is because it is such a, I've forgotten the planetary alignment. Oh, I'd have to think pretty hard about that, I think. It's something, no, I don't know it off the top of my head, so I won't bother. But it is genuinely a celebration and fun card. So even in a sexual context and in the context of orgies and whatnot, they are all enjoying themselves. So that's the important thing to note, I think, with that card. It's always joyous, no matter what context, no matter what's around it. Goodness. I did say in the beginning, I think I did, in the beginning of this video, that I did pull out a lot of cards that I wanted to mention as well as show with regard to interpersonal relationships and partners, romantic relationships. And I was just putting together those some clips where it cut me out earlier, and I almost forgot an entire pile. Anyway, fortunately, I realised that I didn't remember talking about those. Yes. So I'll talk about them now, and I'll add them in, and it'll probably be a bit jumpy, but anyway. Yeah, okay. So, in the context of romantic relationships, and we were going over the wands and their relationship with passion and sex and the sexual connotations and context that it brings to spreads. So, Another major arcana that is often associated with lust is strength, which is number 8 in the Rider Waite. And associated with Leo. It's important, I think, to note that in the Crowley Thoth deck, strength is actually swapped, the number that is, with, stop and think now, don't I? Justice, number 11. 8 and 11 are swapped around, and he actually has named this card, even though it's number 11 in his deck, he's named it Love. So, and it's about, as you can see in this picture here, it's about taming our inner beast. And there's lots of wands cards around it, and Leo being a fire sign is very sexually orientated anyway, or based, or enjoys sex. I don't know how you want to word that, but taming that inner beast is, I guess, well, it takes trust and, I guess, practice maybe. But yeah, it's a very lustful card, and cards around it, yeah, always show or tell more about the story. Another major arcana, that's number 8 in the Rider Waite original deck. One second. Okay. Now, as with, I showed you earlier I can't find it now, I've messed up my piles unfortunately, oh sorry. Yes. I showed you the Ace of Wands, being a wand, and having green, it shows the potential and fertility, because it's got green leaves and things coming out of the wand, and it's a very phallic, and yeah, it's often changed just simply to sex, and it's masculine. Anyway, the major arcana, the Tower, is also a similar card in that way. It's number, I think it's 16, yeah, good. Number 16, and as we can see with the Tower, it's quite dramatic, this card, and we've got lightning striking the Tower, lightning being illumination and truth. So, well, actually I won't go into the Tower card, I'm talking about it in a different context here, so I was about to get all complex. No. So lightning strikes the Tower, and the people are out falling, as you can see. So, this card, with the Tower, as we can see here, also being very phallic, can often refer to the actual sexual act, as in ejaculation. So, especially with the lightning and the people falling out of the Tower. So, yeah, it's very literal meaning. I mean, yeah, the cards can be very literal sometimes, and humorously so. It can also have another meaning with that lightning striking the Tower, and basically the people falling out of the Tower and the Tower crumbling can have like the real simplified, shocking interpretation of, I won't say love, lust at first sight, with that lightning bolt, and with it being such a phallic, yeah, such a phallic card, yeah, lust at first sight, overwhelming, obviously. Possibly, yeah, I could go into lots of possibilities there, but anyway. So that's the Tower number 16, and it needed to be mentioned when we were talking about cards with sexual connotations and context. This one, yeah, can definitely be taken that way. Okay, and the last of my little pile here was, I didn't set anything up very well, I just want to get this. I was horrified to see that I skipped a pile. Is Judgment, and it's number 20. It's one of my favourite cards actually. Judgment, number 20. And it's with that archangel there, she's blowing that horn, that trumpet. She doesn't mess around, and everyone can hear that when she blows that trumpet. And as we can see, the dead people rising from the coffins there, the graves or whatever. This is an awakening card. It's usually it refers to spiritual awakenings and our own reckoning, our own judgment of ourselves, and atonement and forgiveness. It should be. Now, in this context, with that horn blowing, and I'll put that in my first. This judgment card can be in conjunction with my 5 soulmate romance partner cards. Oh, I lost it. Sorry. Yeah, it's in conjunction with one of those, definitely. But that trumpet blowing can be quite literally, as I said, well, with the tarot, it's lust at first sight. This one can be love at first sight. But that love, because of the soul implications, this is a major arcana and a very spiritual and heavy hitter in the major arcana. Love at first sight, that actually it awakens your soul. It is a spiritual awakening as well as love at first sight and meeting your soulmate. Triple threat. And I have seen it. It spreads, and it's overwhelming, I would say. Yeah. So in that context, how beautiful. Yeah. Rare, but beautiful. And it definitely had to be mentioned with all the other cards that we've mentioned. Yeah. Okay. I think I've covered it now. Not sure what happened there. Anyway. I was at the night. The nights are the teenagers of the court. So, just wherever they're going, they're rushing in, they're rushing out. Everything's sort of done without much thought. Now, in the wands, and if it's sexual, that's a classic one night stand card. In, out, yeah. It's not, he's not staying anywhere very long. Yeah. Knight of Wands, special mention. The Sun. Now, this is actually getting a special mention. Let me show you. If around other sexual cards, it talks of freedom, because the Sun is illumination and it's real sexual freedom. Like, so it can be a lot of fun. And also the Sun card can relate to fun in the sun, like holidays. So it can refer to holiday sexual fun, if around the right cards. Sexual freedom and fun, I guess. And holiday fun sometimes. Now, the other thing I want to say about this card too is if you see, I've seen it when it's, it's hard to phrase correctly, but if I see it with the moon and a connector card in a spread, the sun and the moon, I mean day and night, that is classic opposites connected at a soul level, soulmate energy. I mean the moon actually reflects the sun's light. So the moon needs the sun in that instance, but, or it doesn't need it, doesn't need to reflect light. But. yeah, so it gets 2 mentions, I guess. But again, has to be in the right company. But yeah, if you see the sun and the moon together, that's a pretty powerful meaning, actually. Only with the right connector cards, obviously. The sun, major arcana. Now, as I've been reading tarot for a long time, and my experiences and stacks of tarot diaries don't lie. So I know that a lot of people probably won't even agree with a lot of my own personal understandings of cards, and I reckon this will be one. This is the Page of Cups, and all these cards today have been the Rider Waite. Correctly, have been the Rider Waite deck because I'm lazy. No, I couldn't find any really good examples in the other decks, but anyway, so we're just using the Rider Waite today, and this is the Page of Cups. And this gets a special mention because this is usually, this generally, just in any spread, this card will, it's a question mark card for me because it's fishy. Like, he's looking at a fish in a cup. Something's fishy, so it's a question mark. And he's just really out of place. Like, look at how weird this character is dressed. He's not dressed like anybody else in the pack. He's wearing some sort of tunicky. Hang on. Weird. It's very strange. You know, so fish out of water, that kind of thing. It's very strange, and I often get this to mean same-sex attraction, or same-sex, or gay card, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, definitely in the right company, obviously. No card should ever be labeled. No tarot card should ever be just labeled something. I mean, it has to be the interplay, the peel off the layers, and you know, sometimes one card will mean something in a spread that you'll only ever see once in your entire lifetime. That's how the interplay is so effective on the meaning and interpretation of cards. But yeah, this gets a mention today because it often means it's my gay card, gay, lesbian, whatever. I don't know what the latest one is, but yeah, and same-sex attraction. Yeah, this was the one I said I'll leave her to last. This is the Queen of Wands, King Dangalang's partner, or perfect partner, I suppose. Now, this card is, yeah, watch out for this card. It gets a special mention sexually for sure, like especially with other, you know, cards that would back that up. But not only that, it's almost like not satisfied with because the Queen of Wands as a character is extremely sexually attractive, I suppose, and lustful, or lusted after, I suppose. Yeah, and this card, even with the sex element in it, I mean, it's almost like Queen of Wands isn't satisfied with that. It's got to be something more. Like, the giveaway is the black cat staring at us there. And without going into like too much rigmarole, witchy business, that one. Watch yourself. Watch yourself with this card. Highly sexual, and even wants to sort of get you at a soul level, I reckon. Yeah, nothing good comes of this card in my spreads, ever. Oh, in context of sexuality and partnerships, I should note. Yes. And that's it. said, there are a lot, but you know, my purpose in using tarot, practicing tarot is a better term, is for soul growth, soul lessons to be learned, and usually slap me over the head because I don't pay attention. But all elements of our life affect our spirituality, for good or bad. So everything comes into play in tarot. I highly doubt that any subject, any facet of life is untouched within the tarot. I doubt it. It illuminates things for me that I haven't even thought about in my own life. So, yeah. So it'll indicate, start that again. It'll indicate the good partnerships, the ones where, oh, you know, people may ask, is this prospective partner good for me? Yeah, we've got all cards indicating that. Or even if they're doubting that, or things are going pear-shaped in someone's relationship, which affects our spirituality, we'll take a look. No, you're supposed to be with this person, but it's nothing in life. It's like, there's ups and downs all the time, and often the things that we work at are really worth having. So, yeah. Oh, I'll rant on about it a bit more in my information underneath, but yeah, twin flames, I'm not buying it. Yeah, I don't know. We should never seek out externally. It should complement us. External elements should complement our own journeys, but certainly not complete our journeys. That's bullshit, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, have a great day. Thanks for listening.